Thanks for staying with us. You're watching TVC Breakfast. Well, it's time now to talk about deepening regional integration in the Southwest, and this through the initiative of the Dawn, and that's what we'll be talking about as we bring in our guest shortly. The Dawn Commission, that's the development agenda for Western Nigeria, is a dedicated technocratic institution for the sustainable development of the Southwest region. It was set up by the governments of the Southwest states of Nigeria as the institutional and program management body to midwife their regional integration agenda. And with us in the studio to talk more about this, especially under the current administrations of, the various Southwest governors, the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on the Dawn agenda. We have Honorable Lanre Odesanya with us. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning, TVC. Good morning, viewers at home.
Right. And, specifically your mandate is to drive the agenda of Dawn, under the Sanwo-Olu administration. Tell us, since the inauguration of this present administration, how has it been pushing, this Dawn agenda? Because, for some observers, quite a number of observers, the feedback we got is that, the Dawn mantra, the Dawn message appears to have, tapered down somewhat. But, from your insider angle, tell us more about how you're driving this agenda for the good of the Southwest.
Thank you once again. Interestingly, I think I need to give a synopsis of the historical evolution of the acronym DAWN. Like Riley said, over 10 years ago, the Yoruba community, the Yoruba race, the people got conscious of the fact that there was the need for them to have a blueprint. That is the Southwest. That they needed to have a blueprint to foster development amongst them as a race, as a people. You'll agree with me that the Yoruba race is a global race. You go to Cuba, you go to Brazil, you go to Jamaica, back home in Togo here, in Cotonou, you have the Yoruba people there as a people, community. However, before the inauguration of Dawn, would you believe Dawn has spent 10 years, it's over a decade.
Right.
Before the official inauguration, they had an assemblage of the best among us. They had the technocrats, they had the bureaucrats, they had the professionals, they had from the business community, from the traditional institutions. They had workshops, they had retreats to combine all these ideas together. So officially, precisely July 2013, all the Southwest governors now inaugurated officially development agenda for Western Nigeria. But the philosophical trust behind Dawn is just on the tripod of our history as a people, our culture, our tradition, above all, our talents. Hence, the need to foster development and regional integration amongst us. And what's the mandate? Like done in every state, Ondo, Ogun, and other Southwest states, is civic engagement among the people, political engagement. Part of our mandate is food security, interestingly, infrastructural development, economic development. So if you pick, you discover that all these facets cover our existence as a people, as a nation. From food security, at the time we had, we had farm settlements. These were programs by the late sage Obafemi Awolowo. And I took a visit as part of on assumption of office in August. I took a visit to the Cocoa House. I need to tell you that the Dawn is officially in existence at Ibadan. We have a Dawn Commission.
Yeah.
So that's the DG.
Led by Shayo
Ilaya is the DG. Thank you very much. So I got amazed. That was my first trip to Cocoa House. If from the proceeds of cocoa, the late sage could come up with Cocoa House. The need for us to foster, to forge ahead as a people. If from the proceeds, we could have Liberty Stadium, from the proceeds of cocoa, the need for us to have agriculture as part of our agenda as a people, that we could feed ourselves. If we could have free education, here we are. If we can have a TV station, even before some countries in Europe, proceeds from cocoa. Lovely memories of the late sage, Obafemi Awolowo. Having said that, under food security, just like you asked me, in line with the Team Plus agenda, we have team agenda for the first time of the governor, Sanwo-Olu. Now it's a Team Plus agenda. In tandem with this philosophy, we go to Imota and Ikorodu, we have the rice mill. I think it's not the largest in Sub-Sahara rice processing mill in Imota. I think that's how solves the question of food security. You have Homeland Affairs. Homeland Affairs, underneath we have how do we secure ourselves? How do we protect ourselves as a people, as a region? Don't forget we have Amotekun across the region. And for the loving memories of the late governor of Ondo State, the SAN, Aketi, who happens to be the 001 of the security outfit. Because security globally, it's communal, it's local. It takes the people to secure the environment. Strangers cannot come and see because they don't know the nooks and crannies. Now we have kidnappers, we have all sort of, but the Amotekun, you discover they're doing greatly well in conjunction with the police. Under economic development, you can see the state government is doing very well. Under infrastructural renewal, the blue, red lines, the last one we commissioned is extending to our neighbors and brothers in Ogun State Air. So if the federal government could provide rail to link up with Ibadan, if it could provide rail to link up to Abuja or wherever, the region could link up. Going to Ekiti, we can have it by rail.
Right.
Part of our agenda. Going to Ogun State, we could go by rail. All of us cannot be on road. That's under infrastructure, you know.
That's right. Quite interesting background you painted there. The Dawn Commission, since 2013, there have been different governments, government change and all of that, even though they say government is continuum. I remember the previous DG when he died, I don't know, I think it actually caused some sort of setback, you know, to the commission. Yeah. But how does Dawn Commission collaborate with the government? Because these governments that came in, these governors that came in, do they see it as their own projects? Because we have at least a state that is different from all other states. For instance, your state being led by the PDP, and even Osun State being led by the PDP. How do you work with these varied states with different political ideologies?
Yeah, thank you. Besides our flag, besides our political identity or differences, like you rightly mentioned, PDP states. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Ibadan, particularly scribes of southwestern states. We call SSG. We had the Pali that involved all the scribes. And what was the theme? That the way forward as a region. It was really intellectually brainstorming. It was interactive. So, besides our flag, I don't think that will be an issue. We are conscious as a people, like I was just saying, we are conscious as a race, not just a race, a global race. The reason why the region needs to forge ahead. So, besides our political differences, that shouldn't be a barrier as far as I've studied since I got into office in August.
Has it somewhat been a barrier, over time?
My observation and experience in the little while I came in August, I don't think is a barrier. Because the governors have been responsive, they've been supportive to maintain down, especially the commission in Ibadan. We have a labor force of like over 30 people, technocrats working there, and proceeds from collective inputs of these states. That's how they fund the commission. So they've been responsive. Broadly speaking, there could be improvements. The angle from which you are looking at it, there could be improvements, and I believe they're working on it.
From
do better.
Right, from your own assessment now, talking about these improvements, which areas would you proffer, some form of improvement? Because when you look at it, what is the level of buy-in? Are you talking about improvements in the level of buy-in, or is that satisfactory from your end? And if some other areas aren't satisfactory, what will they be?
Fundamental areas, like I mentioned earlier, has to do with food security. Decades ago, we had Igbimo rice. Somewhere in Ekiti or Osun, we had Igbimo rice. We had Erimo rice somewhere in Ekiti, Ogun. They were producing rice in larger quantity. But I believe the two are defunct now. The two are in comatose.
And they would have been welcome at this time.
So as a race, what makes us as a race? What's our pride if we cannot feed ourselves? The reason why state government came up, it's the immortal rice processing mill that could even feed
talking about the
right
immortal, sorry to butt in. Talking about the immortal rice, what's it called?
Rice mill.
Rice mill.
People had actually queried the tons of rice, being churned out from immortal, even though it's the largest in West Africa. Yeah. So how much of it do we have? Because a lot of people are still having challenges feeding, getting access to locally produced rice.
The reason why I said we could rejuvenate the defunct Igbimo rice, the Erinle rice, we're looking at what went wrong so that we can feed ourselves and exit even ready for exports. So like under infrastructure, precisely transportation, like I said, our real red is linking up our brothers in Ogun State. So we're forging ahead. So we've been able to sensitize and conscientize our people, especially the governors, the need for them to be supportive. Of course, they've been responsive infrastructurally, that we could link up so that it would be easier, much easier for us to move, even with our loads. And of course, that will boost our economic life. Our day-to-day business life will be boosted. You can move your goods. So, we have equally education. We have education, we have youth empowerment, to engage the youth productively. It sickens when people say, I'm looking for a job. These days, people don't look for a job just for you to learn a trade or a job. You see graduates engaging in skills acquisition, and that's global. In America, they hand much faster than even graduates. The reason is vocational institutions, technical institutions need to be re-engineered so that our youth need to be empowered, skills acquisition. We're working on that. That's across the region. We need to forge ahead so that our hands will be productively busy.
Okay, let's still stay focused on the rice mill, the Immortal rice mill in Lagos, because it has so much projections. It's indeed a promising initiative, especially when it came on board. Many people were expectant on it. Under the current administration, under the Themes Plus agenda of Governor Sanwo-Olu, what is the drive? Where are we headed as a state? Because there are still so many hungry people. Many people on the outside believe that this rice, if we indeed have it, is in the wrong hands. And if Lagos can get that right, while you are also working on the other defunct rice projects, if Lagos can at least get that running, optimally, that will be, a major success story on the part of your administration. So just give us, a sense of where the government is headed now. What is the next phase in this Immortal rice project?
The global economic meltdown, Nigeria is not an exception.
Okay.
If UK could officially report that the economy got into recession. However, A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure, as media practitioners,
Right.
you know, the governor launched this initiative, a program that by weekends, especially Sunday, you know, we have subsidized
markets,
food
right?
that we can get affordable foodstuffs. And this has been very, very successful. I think we had like 3 Sundays ever since it was launched. So these are part of initiatives that we, and we all hands are on deck actually track down hoarders. Don't forget some miscreants are hoarding foodstuffs, not even in Lagos. I'm sure you know. So the state government is on the track to make sure such wouldn't happen in Lagos, because you need to feed our people. And hungry man, of course, you know, will have hunger.
Yeah.
And when an hungry man will go into illicit activities,
That's right.
it should be antisocial to our development as a people.
Yeah.
So we are all hands on deck on that. We're working tirelessly.
Yeah, so Dawn Commission is actually, doing, a lot based on what you said, basically. But if you're doing something and you're not measuring, you may not be able to track, the development progress or the initiatives you bring into bear or the advice you're giving the government and all of that. So what are some of the key performance indicators that you use to monitor your engagement with government? Talking about the metrics that Dawn Commission used to measure your engagement with government and, impact of the effectiveness of its programs.
It's part of our mandate officially to interact amongst ourselves. Probably essays, you might call it, like we call it Dawn and regional integration in Lagos. It's regional integration in places like Osun. What they have is a commissioner. But all these, probably special advisors or commissioners, meet periodically to actually assess and have an overview of our performances, our progress, respective state. Another one is coming up soon. Besides that, we engage other stakeholders. It's our mandate to engage other stakeholders, particularly the women folk, like I mentioned, the youth, the aged, and all the professionals within the region to actually sensitize them. Let me give you a tip. Before the official inauguration, we had Yoruba Academy. Have you heard about Yoruba Academy?
Yeah.
It was part of the initiative. It's still there in Ibadan. Well, as we speak, we are planning to actually rejig, because it's a scholarly institution, more like an academia where you have intellectuals who come out with blueprints that we could forge ahead. We could tap from their fountain of intellectualism as a people, tap from their ideas, hence we move forward as a people.
Right, and also the issue of exploitation of mineral resources, because only in the news recently we saw what happened in Oyo State, and that is also not a case in isolation, even though that case actually stood out in terms of the degree of mineral exploitation,
The explosives?
the indiscriminate mining in the state. Is that also, a concern for Dawn? And, what should Nigerians, what should Southwesterners be looking forward in terms of a form of intervention from the Dawn, you people driving the Dawn initiative now?
That's let's sympathize once again with the people, with our brothers in Ibadan for such a very ugly scenario that claims life. So it's due to negligence and unscrupulous elements among us. Hence, the security agency need to keep eagle eye on them to actually avert such occurrences. However, it's one of the constitutional issue, because you practice federalism now. Unlike yesteryears, whilst we practice parliamentary, while we practice regionalism, while the late premier had sway, Ahmadu Bello was in charge of the North.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that it's on the exclusive list, which you just mentioned, on the exclusive list. And when you look at the philosophy of the present federal government led by Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you see the man in charge of mineral resources has been doing wonderfully well. In fact, we have guards, the initiated guards, a particular sect of the security outfit that will go, the forest guard, to go after illegal miners. Because whooping sum of money go down the drain without any recourse to the government pause. So how do we forge ahead as a people? How do we pick our bills? How do we protect our people? How do we go about our statutory assignment to guarantee the welfare of the people and do all other things? So we have Daily Alake in charge of mineral resources, going very well. And, except amendments are made, I don't think we have the jurisdiction to tap. So
yes,
unlike during we had parliamentary system where proceeds a percentage was just to take to the central, while you have a larger chunk being the landlord or the owner of your minerals endowed with you. So the federal government has taken bold strides since assumption of office that our mineral resources should not go up, especially lithium. You know, there was a federal government the president led the delegation to Qatar lately and met with the leadership equally there. And they had MOU, they had a lot of people sign. How do we forge ahead and actually maximize the proceeds from these mineral resources with which we are endowed with?
All right, Mr. Lanre Odesanya, that would be a fine place to, leave it, even though there are still other areas that we could have explored in this engagement with you, especially with the issue of, security, which you touched upon. But we'll look forward to, other, episodes for and further engagement. Lanre Odesanya there, the special advisor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the Dawn Initiative. Thanks for your work. Thanks for your time with us on TVC Breakfast.
I'm most grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.